You know that there's nipples under there, right? You have object permanence, right? Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Storytime Society. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so glad you're alive. Thank you for tuning in. The theme of this episode is revenge stories, so let's get into it. The title of the first story is You Don't Like Your Boyfriend Seeing Me Braless in the Dorm? Then He Won't. I live in a college dorm on an all-female floor. I usually wear a bra if leaving the dorm building, but I'm not going to put on a bra under my shirt just to walk down the hall to the bathroom. A few days ago, I left my room and walked 10 yards down the hall to the water fountain, refilled my water bottle, and went back to my room. I was wearing a white tank top and no bra. The tank top was fitted but not see-through, so you could only see the outline of my nipples. There was a small group of people hanging out in the hall outside a few of the rooms, but I didn't think much of it until around half an hour later when I got a knock on the door from one of the girls I'd seen in the hall. She said something to the effect of, "Hey, so sorry to ask you this, but if you go out into the hall again, could you put on a bra? My boyfriend's out there and he was staring a little, so..." I'm super non-confrontational, so I was like, "Yeah, sure, sorry about that." And for the rest of the night, anytime I left my room, I put a bra or a sweater on. And that was the end of it, or so I thought. The next day, my roommate told me she'd overheard the girl telling a few of her friends about the incident while in the bathroom. She said the girl was making it sound like I'd been purposely trying to seduce her boyfriend, wearing basically nothing, taking my time at the water fountain, posing to push out my tits, the whole works. When she left the bathroom, my roommate said the girl was actually acting it out at the water fountain, pretending to be me. That night, I passed the girl and some of her friends on my way to go brush my teeth. I wasn't wearing a bra. I was already in pajamas. The girl looked pointedly down at my chest and all of them started giggling. But the last straw was when the entire dorm got an email from the RA yesterday saying she'd gotten some anonymous complaints about people dressing inappropriately in the hallways and asking that we all make sure we're keeping things covered up. So here's where I got my petty little revenge. I knew that the girl's boyfriend doesn't go to the college here. The girl and I were in the same orientation group and chatted a little bit back then. I also knew that due to the pandemic, we weren't allowed to have non-student/family guests in the dorms this year. So I used the same anonymous complaint form to issue a complaint about people bringing their off-campus boyfriends into our dorm and them not wearing a mask. Masks are mandatory in the hallways, although not frequently enforced. This morning, the RA emailed again saying that due to anonymous complaints, they'd be enforcing the no off-campus guests rule by checking IDs of unfamiliar guests to make sure they were students from then on. Really? This girl should be thanking me. If she was concerned about her boyfriend seeing the vague outline of my tits in the dorm hallways, she no longer needs to worry. Slay queen. The way that I would have yelled at her, though, and I would have shoved my nipples in her face, like, how about don't ever say... First of all, the fact that she said that in the first place to her, like the first thing that she said, saying, "My boyfriend was kind of staring." Okay, tell your boyfriend not to stare then. Because why do I have to be uncomfortable in my own home? But your boyfriend just gets no big deal. He was the one staring at me. And also, do we not all have nipples? Do we not all know that we all have nipples? Like, unless you were born without them, we pretty much all have nipples. Or unless you got surgery or something. Like, I'm so confused because why... I never understand why it is always such a big deal that nipples are a thing. Like, I've been around someone that was making fun of someone's nipples being like hard and being like, "Oh my God, you can see your like hard nipples." Okay, stop looking then. I don't understand. Like, why do you care? You know that there's nipples under there, right? You have object permanence, right? You know that just because things are covered up doesn't mean that they're not there anymore. Like, are you a baby? You think that since I have a shirt on, that means my nipples are non-existent now? I'm just a little confused about that. And that's why that's why I'll never care about my nipples being hard, because, oh my God, God forbid my nipples are hard. You want to look? Like, I don't know, want to take a picture? You never seen them before? What do you want from me? Okay, some of the comments. I'm also pretty petty. I have to tell you that before I got to the end, I was thinking if it were me, I would walk down the hall in my bra with no shirt. I mean, hey, it's wearing a bra, which is technically what she asked for. OP said, if I had the confidence, I definitely would have. Someone said, university is totally where I built up that kind of confidence. Remember, she was threatened by how you look, so you look good. Use this incident to build your confidence. Every time you're questioning yourself, look in the mirror and realize a girl was worried her boyfriend was going to leave her for you because you walked to the water fountain. The fact that she's so insecure that she's worrying about your nipples being out sounds like a her problem. This is 100% the correct take. She also seems to be trying to assert herself as the dominant one, which I'm guessing she thinks is necessary to avoid losing her boyfriend. OP, make sure you take that in as well. She has to resort to care tactics to have the upper hand. Meanwhile, you can just be yourself and be a significant threat. Just put the bra on over the tank top when you walk out into the hall. Think of it like a jacket or a sweater. Oh, gotta throw on my bra real quick so I can go to the water fountain. I'd throw it on backwards and not snapped like a jacket, complying with the letter of the law, not the spirit. Dude, that's hilarious. Okay, the title of the next story. I poured skunk tincture all along my neighbors' windows so they'd be quieter. They were so loud all the time. I tried talking to them, telling them my boyfriend and I work at a coffee shop and bakery and our hours were really early. I bribed them with treats I made. They were constantly opening their windows and playing their music so loud for hours, at all hours. Even their conversations were loud. With their windows open, even with mine closed, I would know when their mom was visiting, when their boyfriends weren't texting them back, or when they got their nails done. I did everything to cover it up. Music of my own, fans for white noise, TV, etc. It's like they knew when I was actively trying and stepped up their game to be even louder. Eventually, we tried talking to landlords, made noise complaints, everything. They just learned how to be sneaky about being loud. Eventually, it got spiteful, putting music in the window, screaming and banging on the walls. Our houses weren't connected, but there was maybe a max of 10 feet in between with the sidewalk going through. I was getting really stressed out, losing sleep, couldn't relax in my house, was getting sent home from work because I was so tired. It got really bad and I had no idea what to do. Nothing we had done up to this point had worked. When I'd explained my situation, people would come up with funny revenge ideas. None of them stuck like the skunk tincture did to me. I could feel it in my bones that it would work, so I ordered some on Amazon, and one morning as I left for work, I dumped it all along the side of their house that they keep the windows open on. It smelled so bad I was worried I was going to get some on me and I'd smell bad at work. I didn't. Fast forward a couple of hours and I get a notification on our camera that there's motion. It faced in between the two houses along the sidewalk, the place I dumped the tincture. One of the girls was walking back and forth on the sidewalk, spraying the rocks under the windows with Lysol. I watched it for a while and more came out. One opened the window and pulled the screen off and wiped it all down. Eventually a maintenance guy showed up and then the gas company. I kind of started to panic at that point. I felt kind of bad, like maybe I'd gone too far. I don't think they ever figured it out or suspected me. For the next 2 months, these windows stayed shut and I barely heard anything from them. It was so peaceful. I couldn't believe it worked. That's honestly such a good idea. I never would have thought of that. But also, why wouldn't you just call the cops? Did she not call the cops ever? I would have called the cops and been like, hey, my neighbors are being really loud. Can you please, I think they're having a party or something. I don't know. I guess noise complaints. She said eventually we talked to landlords, made noise complaints and everything. So I'm assuming they probably did try that. But I can't imagine, I guess I'm just so scared of the cops no matter what, even if I'm not doing anything wrong, that if a cop comes and is like, you guys need to quiet down, then I'd be like, okay, I'm never talking again. Never talking again in my own house ever again, because I'm never risking getting a noise complaint. That's crazy. So now you guys know, if you ever need to, I guess if that's the situation you have and their windows are open all the time and they're just being so loud, put some skunk, I don't know how to pronounce that. I hope I pronounced it right. Skunk tincture. Don't know what that means, but I don't know. I didn't know you could buy that on Amazon. Some of the comments. It reminds me of a local news story about a man who was arrested for squirting a generous amount of product called liquid ass under his neighbor's door. I believe this was the culmination of an ongoing noise dispute between across the hall neighbors in a Chicago high-rise. Were there also piss discs? Always gotta have piss discs with your liquid ass. In OP's case, you could use the piss disc as a frisbee and throw it inside the open window. Let's see if they keep talking shit after someone pisses on their living room carpet. The thing that I don't understand is why be so inconsiderate. After someone makes a noise complaint, you're gonna be passive aggressive and be even louder and try to keep them up at night. I don't really understand that, especially if someone's obviously trying to sleep. That's the thing that confuses me, is why are you so inconsiderate of other people living near you? You don't even deserve to live somewhere to live in a house or an apartment if that is the level of respect that you have for your neighbors. Maybe you should live out in a farm really far away from everyone so you don't have to have neighbors. But if you have neighbors or you have roommates or anything of that matter, there's just a different level of respect that you have to have for human beings that are cohabiting near you or with you. Like, I don't get why it's so hard or why people get so offended. If it's so loud and you're purposely being louder, you're a terrible person. I was involved in a prank war that I wanted no part of. Catfish bait comes in a squeezable tube and conveniently fits under lots of doors. That's all I'm saying. And I never got pranked again. Liquid ass is amazing. Ew. Catfish bait? Oh, Lord. I know what that smells like, and it does not smell good. The title of the next story is Landlord Went Back on His Word and I Got Petty. Me and my flatmate are moving out in less than a week. It was a private rental up until our landlord heard we were moving out and he switched over to a property manager. On Saturday this past week, we got a call from our new property manager who introduced himself and told us that the landlord had said he wouldn't trouble us with any showings of the house before we moved out. We were so relieved as we only had a short amount of time to get the house packed since I'm disabled and my flatmate works full time and is only home on the weekends, hence moving. So all good. We carry on packing boxes and then lo and behold, the phone rings on Sunday. Guess who's on the other end? The bloody new PM saying, "Oh yeah, so we're actually doing a showing tomorrow at noon. F you both in the arse with a cactus." The house in complete disarray with shit everywhere, boxes, rubbish bags, furniture, obligatory cat toys, our 2,657 houseplants, cleaning products, yada yada. We're exhausted but have to stay up extra late to make sure the house is in acceptable shape. I mean, we have never trashed the place and we've been extremely tidy tenants, but like we're moving and it's chaos, right? Enough of the setup to the good bit. Monday rolls around, my legs are absolutely effed after yesterday, so it's 100% a wheelchair day. The PM rings the doorbell somewhat aggressively, great start, and I yank it open to see a smidgen of hair hanging on for dear life beneath a melon-sized head. Perhaps it was because of my low point of view, or maybe he really did have a sizable melon attached to his neck. He looked uncomfortably at the chair, and I think it was in that moment that he realized I wouldn't be stepping out of the house during the viewing. Oh no. I was gonna be there the whole time the family was looking around. He tried to make casual conversation, but didn't last more than a minute of extremely uncomfortable avoidant eye contact before he excused himself to view the house for the first time ever and then went and hovered by the front door until the family arrived. I wheeled into the living room and parked myself there with a drink on the side table and observed. The PM welcomed the family as they entered the home and they were all smiles, but that stopped the second they saw me. It was a huge, excuse me, what the F moment that you could see all over their faces, but they had to be polite. I just said, "Hi, pretend I'm not here, just part of the furniture, haha." There were some awkward laughs, and they all hurried past me and did their best not to make eye contact. Everyone knows if you make eye contact with someone in a wheelchair that you'll get a disabled disease. Better watch out. Every time they walked past, I just smiled at them, and they avoided me like I had the bubonic plague. Maybe I did. It'll be an unsolved mystery. The family was asking all kinds of questions, which Melonhead did not know any of the answers to, so eventually he came to me for help. I rolled out of the living room and the daughter reeled back like I was going to run her over. Silly girl. I only do that on Tuesdays. I gave them all the information they needed, maybe more than they needed, and finally they all agreed to get the F out of my house. Locked the door behind them at the moment it shut. Bye forever. P.S. F, sorry I'm so wordy. If you read all that, you get a I made it all the way through the bad knees bandits Reddit post trophy. I'm dead. I love the way that he wrote that, to be honest with you. That's hilarious. Him saying, "Oh, I only do that on Tuesdays, girl. Trust me, I'm not going to run you over. It's a Thursday. I'm not running you over. Calm down." That's honestly so funny. Edited to add, I am in New Zealand. We only get 24 hours notice here. Sucks ass. My flatmate was the one who took the call and caved. I now have the Melon's mobile numbers, so he's going to have to get through this girl of solid boundaries before he tries that again. Yes, there's plenty of why'd you do that? I would have done this. And that's lovely, but like what's happened has been and gone. It's now terrible Tuesday. I'm dead. Sorry, that's literally so funny. Melonhead with the tiniest bit of hair hanging on for dear life, like, yeah, that's the best way to explain it, because just shave your head. That's what I always think. I'm just like, just shave your head. Like, why are you holding on to it so hard? Just shave it. I promise you it's going to look better. Some of the comments: excellent work, especially just part of the furniture. OP said, I mean, I was technically part chair. I'm plain bitchy. I would have left the place a disaster zone mid-pack, stayed in the wheelchair like OP did, and then greeted them with, hi, sorry about the mess. I'm still busy packing. They told me there would be no showings until I moved out. They sounded so trustworthy, I believed them. Silly me. The title of the next story is Steal My Seat, Deal with My Toddler. Took the family, husband, kids, 1.5-year-old human wrecking ball to the aquarium. Went to see the open ocean feeding. We got there 30 minutes early to snag good seats. Mission accomplished. Husband and kids seated. I ran 2 of the kids to the bathroom. When I came back about 20 minutes before showtime, some random 10 to 12-year-old kid had wedged himself right next to my husband. As my husband stood up to pass me the toddler, the kid scooted down the bench, leaving one tight spot. Awkward, but whatever. I sat down. My husband stood behind us. Kids on the floor next to me. Cue my toddler immediately starting to climb on the railing like a caffeinated monkey. I eventually gave him my seat so he could sit and hang on the rail, and sat down on the floor next to my other kids. And then the kid tried it again. As soon as I got up, he slid further down the bench like he was going for a gold medal in seat stealing. At that point, I made a decision. Enjoy sitting next to my fully charged toddler. The show starts and my son proceeds to get up, sit down, hang on the railing, rinse and repeat about 4,782 times. The kid is visibly annoyed. I'm spiritually thriving. Bonus, there was no one behind us, so my toddler's antics weren't bothering anyone but him. When my son hopped off the seat for a second, the kid tried to scoot in again, and I hit him with a, excuse me, he's sitting there. He moved. When he tried it again, I said, you already scooted us off the bench. My son's sitting there. Mom voice activated. No parents in sight the entire time, just me, my chaos goblin, and one very annoyed seat thief. Was it petty? Absolutely. Would I do it again? In a heartbeat. Kids are so crazy sometimes. I mean, I don't know how old this kid was that was, 10 to 12-year-old kid wedged himself right next to my husband. That's funny. But some kids are crazy and so rude. And it's crazy to me that the parents don't take responsibility for their kids in public. When I was in, I think I might have told this story before, but when I was in Key West, Florida, we stopped there last year when we were on a cruise, and we went to the aquarium. Me and my boyfriend, we went to the aquarium. Okay. They have this little like touch tank, and there's huge signs everywhere that say like, don't move any of the creatures in there, like don't flip them over and all of that stuff. Like don't play with them. All you do is like you touch them like very, very gently, because first of all, I don't know how I feel about the touch tank in general. Like, I don't know, morally it feels wrong to me. But there were these kids, there was this group of kids and this group of parents. It was like probably 4 or 5 parents and a bunch of kids, and they were all like probably 6 to 8 years old. Oh my God, they were actually terrors. And I was watching them take these animals, picking them up, putting them, like throwing them into different spots, flipping them upside down, just like messing with them to beyond anything that's okay. And not only that, but there's a literal sign that says not to, and their parents are watching them do this. And I was like, excuse me. I was like, first I said to the kid nicely, hey, you guys aren't supposed to do that. And yeah, I'm not working there. So was I being a Karen? Maybe. But sorry, I care about animals, even if it's a starfish that maybe doesn't have feelings. I don't know. Does it have a brain? Can it have feelings? I don't know. But I felt bad. And I don't think that that's okay to be like torturing little animals that are here for your entertainment, which that alone kind of upsets me. And they're just like flipping them around, being crazy with them. And I'm like, you are not supposed to do that. There's a sign right there. And they don't care. They just keep doing it. And I'm like, then I start to say, I get a little bit more aggressive with my tone. I'm like, don't do that. You're not supposed to flip the animals around. And then the mom yells, one of the moms, actually 2 of the moms yell at me. They're like, let me parent my kids. And I was like, well, you're obviously not doing a very good job at it. And period. And I don't care. I'll shout it from the rooftops, because guess what? If you're disrespecting animals, like, that is something that I will never watch happen with my own eyes and not say something about. I don't care. Ugh, it pisses me off so much. This has nothing to do with this, really. Sorry. I just got on a tangent about that. I know, but it just has to do with like little kids being annoying at an aquarium, and this person was at an aquarium. So that's why I felt the need to tell that story. But genuinely, like, once in a while I'll think about that story and how pissed it made me, because I'm not like one to be mean to little kids, but if you're being disrespectful, it's like, those shitty, bratty little kids that just think like the world revolves around them, and it's so clear that their parents haven't taught them how to be respectful to anything, and they just like go around, destroy everything. That was all of these kids. And then on top of that, and I'm not judging, okay, I think it's fine, like if you're a parent, it's fine to have a drink, but they all had drinks in their hands. And so I'm like, oh, so you don't care, like you let your kids just run around and disrespect everything, disrespect nature. I don't know. They needed it handed to them that day, and I was so annoyed. Then once I was like, oh yeah, well, you're clearly not doing a good job at it, because you're like, your kids are fucking with these poor animals. And they're like, well, if something was going on, there's a team member right there that would tell us. I'm like, okay, I'll punch you in the face right now. No, I won't. I would never actually punch someone in the face, but did I want to? Yeah, I was livid. My blood was actually boiling. I hate to say that actually made me so mad, but it really did. I just hate seeing like parents letting their kids be disrespectful, and especially to animals. Like, oh, I mean, even if it was like a little kid that they were bullying, I would be the same exact way. If I see something, I'm gonna say something, and I don't care. Like, that is the bystander effect, okay? And I'm not going to be a part of the bystander effect. That's just like letting someone do something effed up to someone, and like, say someone punched someone and I just was like, oh, and I didn't do anything about it. I mean, maybe I probably wouldn't say anything, but like I would be calling 911 and like trying to help the person probably. I definitely would probably be a little bit, nervous, and I wouldn't be like yelling at the offender that was punching, because I don't want to get punched, but I would definitely be trying to help the person and calling 911, because I'm not going to be a part of the bystander effect. I refuse to be a part of the bystander effect. Anyway, sorry. Some of the comments: have your husband practice these words for next time. I'm sorry. These seats are taken. What adult can't save a seat from a preteen? Some preteens are just born shit stirrers. I was on a ride at Six Flags when a 16-year-old and his friend started screaming slurs while the ride was going. When it ended, I turned back and told them to shut the F up. And the one screaming the most slurs wanted to fight me. LOL. I was like, go ahead, see what happens. His friend was visibly shook and dragged him away. Then this kid ran to his sister and she came to yell at me. LOL. This teenage boy was shouting the N-word, homophobic slurs, and general swears. They're lucky I didn't go to security. It's supposed to be a family-friendly park. I wasn't innocent at his age either, but I'd never swear in the proximity of young kids. Sorry. My favorite way to shut my kids down is to tell them to try whatever behavior got them in trouble again. Turn on that mom voice that would strike fear in the hardest of hearts. Not yelling, mind you, just super low and intense. Do that again. No, I'm serious. Do it again. I freaking dare you. See how it works out for you. They have yet to accept that dare. When my dad did that when I was younger, and the face that he would put on with that, I would be scared out of my drawers. Genuinely, I would shit in my drawers. Like, I'd be so scared. Staff could have handled this kid in a heartbeat if you said they were lost. What someone makes your problem doesn't always have to be your problem. So true. That's what I always say, is like, why do people always make their kids someone else's problem? Sometimes it's just, and also it's kind of scary when parents just let their kids do whatever. I'm going to be so, I don't know, it may be toxic and unhealthy how like protective I'm going to be of my kids, but in this day and age, it's just so different. And when me and Jack went to we have like a little food truck event near us every other Friday. And the amount of little kids that were there on their bikes, just like doing wheelies, and being just so dangerous. It was really disheartening to see. Just the amount of little kids that are just able to do whatever they want with no parental supervision was really scaring me. And I hate that I was one of those kids, but I was. But it was different back then. Also, I never really went to actually, I beg to differ. I was going to say I never really went to like events like that and like caused chaos, but I definitely did. I mean, obviously I know that like my neighborhood's like a family friendly place. So obviously there's going to be kids, but I expect the kids to be also paired with the parents. And I just don't like to see like 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds by themselves in groups with, it's just kind of scary. And then not only that, but like they were being dangerous and very unsafe. There's roads, there's cars, and they're just driving their bikes across, not really looking if there's cars, not caring, on their phone driving. There's a car behind them trying to get past them. They don't care. They're like swerving around. Like you're going to get hit by a car, and that's not what we want, right? That's not what we want here. So, but anyways, that's the end of the story time. So I hope that you guys enjoyed those stories of petty revenge. Some of them were petty and some of them weren't, but let me know, as always, your opinions on the stories, because I always want to hear what you guys think. And always comment down below if you guys ever have any suggestions on the next topic that you want me to do or the next theme that you want me to do. I love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you in the next episode. Bye. My merch is out. Yeah, but this is it. And this comes in pink, black, and white. If you want to get a little cute piece of merch, go grab one. Link is in the description to purchase. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.